Hello.
Hi there.
So we really got into that Oscar death race this week, didn't we?
We've been in it, yes. What? How many movies did we watch?
Ooh, we watched two, three, four, five. We watched five movies this week.
Okay, our normal amount, I think.
Yeah.
All right, start us off. What did we start out with?
Well, the first movie we watched was Elio, which is a Disney animated movie. I believe that one's Pixar. Not gonna lie, I thought this was a pretty nothing movie. Nominated for Best Animated at the Oscars.
It looked good.
No way does it beat K-pop Demon Hunters.
Nothing ever will.
Of course, I read all the stuff about the production of this movie and how they took a good movie and essentially gutted it.
We'll start with the things I liked. I thought the animation was really well, especially the scenes where they were on a beach and you could see all the little grains of sand that they were playing in, things like that. Just the color and art style, and I suppose the voice acting was really good. But get into a little bit more of the juicy bits. What's the drama behind this story, babe?
Well, the director of this movie was the director of Coco.
I never saw Coco.
Coco is great. It had me sobbing on the floor. So good. And so, of course, that movie does really well. It wins the Oscar and everything. Pixar wants to let that director do another movie. So he brings this concept to the D23 Expo
Okay.
and shows it off. Everyone got really excited. America Ferrera was attached.
Love her.
And then he drops out, and the official story is that, oh, he wanted to spend more time working on Coco too. And then America Ferrera drops out. And then you hear about animators who dropped out as well, and animators who are upset, saying that they worked on this artistic, beautiful movie and it got gutted
Okay.
because Elio, I believe, was supposed to be a stand-in for the director, who is gay. What I read was Disney was saying stuff like, he can't be into fashion and environmentalism. He needs to be more masculine. So, just a really cowardly, homophobic position coming from Disney higher-ups.
Okay.
And yeah, if I were those animators and that director and America Ferrera, I would be upset too.
They took out all the interesting bits of the story from what I gather. That's
Yeah.
no fun.
And then the movie, it felt like nothing.
It had a good potential and a good setup, I thought, but knowing what we did kind of going into it, I agree. It fell kind of flat to me. The story kind of ramps up, then you don't go anywhere.
Exactly. It just didn't flesh anything out, really.
Not very well, no.
And like you said, the animation was really pretty. I mean, I thought the scene where he's getting beamed up into the spaceship, that looked really cool.
It did. Like I said, the concept and story or the themes were interesting. I liked the clone Elio that was running around at one point.
Oh, Clone Elio was my favorite character.
We had that one really good scene. I think it was probably my favorite scene where you had that slight horror element where Clone Elio is walking through the smoke all red, light colored and everything.
He's moving like a zombie.
He was. I thought
Yeah.
that was neat.
No, that was cool.
Some of the characters were good. I think our buddy slug friend, whose name escapes me, was funny and well done. That was hanging out with Elio in the spaceship or whatnot, wherever he was at.
I felt like their friendship wasn't really fleshed out that much. It was kind of like one montage, and that was it.
And you put it was like a montage does not make a friendship.
No, not at all. You actually have to show something in your montage.
I agree. We had some really good starters, like Elio has a sort of traumatic background with I think his parents had passed away,
Yeah.
living with his aunt, I believe,
Yeah.
who's in the military. So it seems like they've maybe moved around a lot, or his life isn't very normalized at this point. I would have loved, yeah, if they'd kept some of the original story elements,
Yeah.
and even Elio could have been fleshed out a little bit more.
I agree. Elio didn't have much of a character to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was just he's lonely, he likes aliens.
Yeah, it really boiled down to just bad guy aliens get to the spaceship, everyone wins by the power of friendship. That's it. It just wasn't interesting.
Yeah. Man, I would have really liked to see how environmentalism would have played into
I
this
know.
story, but I guess that's too feminine.
I guess they just cut all that. Who cares about the environment? Well, he was going to space. He doesn't care about the environment at all. I think Elio is the real villain here.
I was really underwhelmed.
Yeah, if I had gone into this movie without knowing some of the background drama, I would say it's fine. Like, little kids will probably love this. It's cute and fun and overall pretty lighthearted, but like I said, there's just nothing past that surface level to really give this any worthwhile, or I don't even think it's worth a rewatch.
If this were about a lonely gay kid, I would have been sobbing on the floor uncontrollably. I didn't shed a single tear. This is Pixar. I should be shedding tears.
Agreed, agreed. So they definitely know what they're doing. It's just I think you could tell a lot was probably cut from this or reworked.
Yeah.
And I think they just jumbled the process, tried to put a bunch of pieces that didn't quite fit together into a single package.
And it felt really rushed.
It did, yeah.
It's like, oh no, we still have this deadline for when the movie needs to come out because we've already sold all the brand deals and we got the
Hmm.
toys coming out or whatever. So just get it done, get it out.
That sounds about right. But yeah, not much heart to it. It's not a terrible movie, I suppose,
No.
but just kind of a disappointment knowing what it could have been.
Yeah.
No, it was not a K-pop Demon Hunters, that is for sure.
No, it was not K-pop Demon Hunters. K-pop Demon Hunters was the best animated movie of the year.
I even liked that one, what was it, like the Sandman sleeping animated where the brother and sister are
Oh,
riding
In
on
Your Dreams.
In Your Dreams. In Your Dreams,
Yeah, that was
much
better
better
than
movie.
this.
Watch In Your Dreams instead. I had much more fun with that.
Same. Because that movie wasn't afraid to tackle more complex subject matter.
Sure.
Because, yeah, kids do deal with more complex subject matter. So why shouldn't it be reflected in the movies they watch?
I agree. Yeah. Leo, beyond that, there weren't that many memorable characters. And even, like I said, even Elio himself wasn't that fleshed out.
Mm-mm.
Just kind of a nothing burger of a movie, sad to say.
Yeah.
That is okay. Give it a try. Maybe other folk will like it.
I'm sure kids might see this and like the pretty colors and the aliens, and I'm sure some kids really enjoyed this.
You know your animated movies, you're better off checking out something else. I'd give this like a 55.
Yeah,
Just based on like it looks good.
I give this a 40 on principle.
Fair.
Do you want to know what the Rotten Tomato score
Oh,
is?
it's probably really high. I'm going to go with 87.
83.
Ooh.
So not worth the hype at all for me.
Nah.
That does not deserve an 83%.
Give it a thumbs down.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know, it feels like who was it? Disney and Pixar took the safe route.
This is my least favorite of the Oscar-nominated animated movies. I haven't seen Arco yet, but so far, this one's my least favorite.
Yeah, skip this.
Even watch Zootopia 2 instead, honestly.
Much better movie.
The next movie that we watched, a big Oscar player, Hamnet.
Hamnet, which we learn early on is just a different spelling or way of pronouncing Hamlet. correct?
Yeah, I'm really glad they kind of opened with that little quote because I would have been just wondering that the whole time. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people would have been.
And this is based off a book originally, right?
Yes, yes. I've never read the book, but yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's this retelling of this book, which is sort of just a reimagination of the genesis of the Hamlet story. Is that kind of right?
Yeah, it's kind of taking Shakespeare and throwing some fiction on it
Okay.
because he marries this woman named Agnes.
Who they try to paint as like a woods witch early on.
She's just really one with nature, but of course, back in those times, that means the whole village is gonna call her a witch.
Absolutely. Jessie Buckley, is she up for lead or supporting this year?
Lead.
Definitely is the lead, I think, in this movie.
I think she'll win too.
This wasn't a bad movie. It's a Chloe Zhao film, so are her movies normally a little bit slower paced?
They are, honestly, I think of of her movies that I've seen, this one was paced the quickest, in my
Really?
opinion.
Okay.
But everyone who I've talked to about this movie has said it's too slow for them, but then the ending is really great. And then I would say to them, Jessie Buckley is going to win the Oscar, right? And the response was always, and she deserves to. So, however you feel about the movie, Jessie Buckley, phenomenal performance.
And you're more versed in Shakespeare lore than I am. How would you say this stacks up to, I don't know, the story of Hamlet or what you know about it, or did you have any unique takes on it from your kind of background in theater?
I mean, this didn't offend me or anything. I didn't
Good.
think this is an affront to Hamlet.
Sure.
Hamlet's probably my favorite Shakespeare play. I think there's a lot of really interesting nuance in there. And I thought it was cool how this movie kind of reframed how a lot of people think of Hamlet.
Okay.
Because here it was framed as this story of grief. Whereas when I usually thought about Hamlet, I thought of it as a story about like mental illness and familial ties and toxic relationships like that.
Revenge.
But there is so much to Hamlet that grief is very much a part of it. So I enjoyed thinking about it more from that lens. I haven't read up much about Shakespeare's life. Like, I don't know if he did have a dead son named Hamnet. I don't think
so.
he did.
That sounds way too on the nose.
That sounds made up.
Yeah.
So I don't think that was the rationale for Shakespeare actually writing Hamlet.
It's like a retelling of how the story came about in a fictional way, but kind of all the right cues are there. You've got that familiar figure in Shakespeare and kind of mold that around. I thought it was well done.
I did
Made
too.
sense.
Yeah.
I thought Jessie Buckley did great. Her character did not have a great time.
No.
She was crying and screaming all over the place, but Jessie Buckley definitely gave a great performance. How'd you like Paul Mescal in this?
I thought he was really good. I think Paul Mescal shines as a really depressed person.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen After Sun, which he was nominated for an Oscar for, he was really great in that.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's about a dad who takes his daughter on vacation, and then like that's the last time she sees him because he's so depressed that he kills himself.
Played by Paul Mescal.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And he's like sad dancing to Queen.
As one does.
All of Us Strangers. He's really good in that.
I like that movie.
I hated Gladiator too.
I don't think I like that movie.
But I wouldn't say that was Paul Mescal's fault.
No, not at all. That's Barry Keoghan's fault. For dropping out of that movie.
But yeah, I like Paul overall. And I thought he did a really, really good job. I know that he went up for awards. He didn't get the Oscar nomination, but he got all the precursors. And he went up as supporting, and I do kind of think that's category fraud. I think he was a lead. Now, Jessie Buckley is like the main lead.
Yeah.
But
I guess I could understand the argument of supporting. He's obviously not in the movie as much as Jessie Buckley, but we definitely have a lot of perspective from his point of view. I wish we would have seen more of him creating and doing his plays and stage stuff when he's in London a lot of the time. A lot of the time in the story, he's just kind of away off doing that off screen.
yeah, I really liked the scene where he was writing and he was like speaking everything in iambic pentameter.
You pointed that out. Yeah, that was neat.
But if anyone's supporting in this movie, it's the kids.
Yes. And all three did a good job. It's obviously focused around Hamnet, the son, for the most part, that kid really gives a good performance. Which, like, we didn't really have, you had the oldest daughter who wasn't really much of a character.
No.
And then the younger daughter who was Hamnet's twin.
And she kind of grew up very sickly. They thought she was dead when she was born.
Glad they checked.
And then when she does finally get really sick, Hamnet switches places with her, which I have to assume in this world, in this story, that is what happened.
Right. I guess you could say he laid next to her and got sick from her.
Even then, I don't think he would have died the next morning.
Maybe
I think it would have taken a few days.
Because I liked the slight change to almost the supernatural element. The Hamnet and sister are laying and the sister's all sick, and the little boy is looking off screen saying, "Oh, death is here, stay still, I'll switch places with you, it doesn't take you." I liked that little trip into a supernatural element that was a unique turn in the story.
Yeah, which there's supernatural elements in Hamlet as well.
Definitely.
With the witches and the ghosts and
I like they show Paul Mescal's Shakespeare. He gets the idea maybe for the Three Witches by playing a version of that with his children.
Yeah.
And they're dressing up and doing a little play for their mom. So I thought that was a cool little nugget showing how he kind of may have come up with a story like that. Or characters like that.
Yeah, it's almost like the entirety of Hamlet was a love letter to his family. Even, we saw Hamnet saying, well, when I'm older, I'm going to go and I'm going to have a sword on stage and I'm going to win the battle. And then you see that happening in the play.
Yeah, the character of Hamlet on stage, who was played by the actor's older brother. Is that correct? That was neat.
Yeah, I think that was a really good choice.
You get all this build up. You have the tragic passing of the son that really affects the story and changes how Jessie Buckley and Hamnet Sr. are dealing with their grief and kind of coping and trying to move on with their lives with their surviving children. And it culminates with this great portrayal of the first playing of Hamlet. I think they're in London. The set and everything, the stage that they built was really neat and authentic looking. I liked Paul Mescal. He had the white makeup on. He was being the ghost of Hamnet Sr.
Yeah, and then I thought the costuming and everything was really good. Even seeing, the kind of standing room only seats. Everyone is dressed more like, not as rich.
Right.
And then you see up in the boxes and there's the rich people. There's like a lot of detail there.
Yeah, all the lively garments. A good portrayal of 17th century England. Lots of shots of Jessie Buckley in the woods doing her woods witch stuff and reading palms and
lots of animals
and hanging out in their garden. It's a pretty movie.
It's a very pretty movie. Yeah,
acting was great, costumes were great. Is it a little long? Sure, but I think there's a really good payoff in this movie. So I'd say worth the hype.
Yeah, the only thing, I guess, design-wise that I was a little iffy on was sometimes when they were inside, it was really dark and it was hard for me to see their faces. I think that was probably intentional because it felt like they were going for a natural lighting look.
I think so.
And so when it's dark, you're going to have like candles. And that's it.
There was one or
But I
two
like to see
scenes.
actors' faces.
Yeah, one or two scenes where like Paul Mescal, he's like getting up in the middle of the night to go, I don't know, ride on the play or something like that. And you can just barely see, he'll be wearing like a white shirt or something. Barely see that through darkness.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I found myself wondering a couple times, like, I wish I could see the characters' faces and know what's happening.
Yeah.
But beyond that, not many criticisms on this movie, I think.
I can see why this is doing really well at award shows and with the Oscars, because I agree the ending is really strong because it's really showing how art can feel cathartic and can help people heal.
Deal with trauma and grief.
And then it also showed this communal experience of everyone really feeling and being touched by this story at the same time.
Yeah, good point.
So I really liked that.
I did as well.
I'm still not going to the movie theater though.
Nah, it ain't that good. Yeah, not a bad movie. Thumbs up. I can see why it got Oscar nominations. Would you say if you're like a theater kid, theater buffs like this kind of movie?
I would say they will at least really like that ending.
Fair enough. Recognize a lot of the elements going into it.
Yeah.
I loved them showing where Paul Mescal's just, he's going around saying, I'm drinking too much. I can't write my plays. And just kind of yelling and screaming all over the place in the first half. Lots of fun. Lots of fun.
Oh yeah, definitely some alcoholism going on there.
No doubt. Good old Bill Shakespeare.
All right. So, on Rotten Tomatoes, this has
What we got?
an 87%.
87's not bad. Fair enough.
Honestly, I would say 87 is appropriately hyped.
I can see why folks would like this. Definitely.
Yeah. Hamnet, worth the hype, I would say.
Was it my favorite movie of the year? No, but I'm not as much of a Shakespeare theater enthusiast.
I appreciated it for what it was trying to do.
Yeah, I agree.
The next movie we have is Boys Go to Jupiter.
What did you think of this movie? I kind of liked it, actually.
I thought it was very strange and definitely made by a high person.
They had fun with it.
I don't think movies like this are for me.
I'm trying to categorize what was this movie about, really?
Because I'm very picky with animation styles, and I didn't care for this one. I guess it's about this burnout 16-year-old who's trying to find his place in the world and what he wants to do with his life.
Trying to figure out ways to make money so he can continue his life, I guess. He's dropped out of high school, which is a questionable move.
And he seems smart.
Yeah.
Like don't they call him like a human calculator or something?
He is. He has a few examples of doing some math in his head that's really impressive.
Did they ever really explain why exactly he dropped out of high school? I assumed it's just because he didn't care for it.
That's what I was getting as well. I remember he was trying to hide it from his parents or his mom.
His sister.
And his sister
He
as
lived with
well.
his sister.
Okay. But his friends knew and thought, okay, that's just something he's doing. And was trying to work for, was it Grubster?
Yeah. I guess it was just really important to this guy. Like, oh, you're all sitting around when you could be making money. So maybe that's how he felt about school.
That could be, yeah.
Even though you'll probably make more money if you finish school.
It's been shown that be true.
But he kind of infiltrates this plant cultivation spot, and then an alien comes back with him.
There was a lot going on. Yeah, he's working for Grubster and thinks, oh, if I get my Grubster points in a different currency and then transfer it to another currency, they've messed up the exchange rate so I can get a bunch of extra money. And while doing that, he delivers food to this food growing or plant growing greenhouse, a set of greenhouses with this guy working there. We had a few different storylines going on here.
Yeah, I didn't think all of them were necessary.
I agree. But all the supporting friends and cast were good and pretty funny, though I don't remember their names.
No.
There's the one tall kid with the freckles.
I think that kid's name was just Freckles.
And then the little one, I think that was Peanut.
Yeah.
We love Peanut.
Yeah, and they were like bullying Peanut at one point,
Yeah,
and
they're not very nice to each other, but I guess they're just teenagers.
our main character was like, dude, you gotta stand up for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And was the main character's name?
Billy 5000.
Billy 5000. That's right. Why is his name Billy 5000?
I don't know. Was this based off of like a graphic novel or
I
something?
don't think it was. I think this is just an original concept. And then we kind of see the lives of some of the people he's delivering food to, but I don't fully understand how that ties into any overall theme.
Yeah.
And then we think for a second there's going to be this romance subplot with the gal from the greenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
But then they just kind of drop that for a while. And when they come back to it, they just kind of throw it in the garbage.
You see a few of the different people that Billy 5000 he delivers the food to as part of his job, and then he's delivering it to this cast of weird and quirky characters. One of whom being this gal at the greenhouse place, who I guess like she's set to inherit the greenhouse or plant or factory, but wants to kind of drive it into the ground because she doesn't believe in whatever they're doing, which seems to be genetically modifying fruit.
Seems like it. And then they're using the little alien because I guess when the fruit's around the alien, it grows perfectly.
Yeah. Weird little subplot of who I guess the greenhouse gals, I think maybe grandma was running it. And seemed to be kind of the quote-unquote bad guy of this movie, even though she was just trying to grow the perfect fruit. I don't know, it was kind of a low-stakes story overall.
I don't think we spent enough time, really, with any of the side characters for me to feel like they even mattered to the plot.
For some reason, this movie kind of reminded me of an episode of, like, Beavis and Butthead. Just some teenage characters just kind of hanging out and talking and making fun of each other, and but we didn't really go anywhere. Had some lighthearted and funny moments. The banter and dialogue was funny.
Just not my thing, man.
And that's okay.
And then there were a lot of random songs.
Yeah, had its musical moments, which I guess isn't bad. I like a musical movie. I don't know. Would have liked to see some of the elements more fleshed out, I guess.
Yeah, and then I guess by the end, he's rejected society and capitalism to go live with the aliens, even though he's 16.
Yeah. We've got Donuts, our little weird creature. Would the grandma call them like the angels? Or they live in the dirt.
Something like that.
Come out, they make their fruit grow real good. Donut was the cute little alien creature, and I think there's this little slug monster thing that was maybe Donut's mom.
Yeah.
And
She had a lot of kids.
Yes, that's right. And then at the end of the movie, the slug monster invites Billy down. And even though it's called Boys Go to Jupiter, they don't actually go to Jupiter. Billy goes underground to live with the aliens.
Yeah, it's not even space.
As his new wife, in a cave somewhere with all his now step alien children. And we kind of leave off there. Interesting little foray into this animated world. I'd like to see more. Nothing too concrete, I guess. I mean, I wasn't not entertained.
Oh, I was sitting there the whole time like, why am I watching this?
I don't know why this story needed to be told, I suppose.
It was not my thing. I didn't care for the way it was structured. I didn't care for the animation. I respect that it's a lower budget indie movie,
Sure.
at least. It's impressive that anyone can just make a movie.
And this is up for Best Animated, is that right?
No, this is nominated for the John Cassavetes Award at the Independent Spirit Awards.
Oh, not Oscars.
So they have a jury who decides which movie that was made for, I think it's less than $1 million.
Okay.
Gets this like grant.
Gotcha.
Or which filmmaker gets a grant, which that's cool.
I liked, as we mentioned, there's a few different characters that our main boy Billy 5000 runs into as he's like delivering food as a part of his job. That's kind of an overarching thing. One of them, I think he's picking up food from the guy at the hot dog stand, who we don't see his face, but his conversation and banter he was just an oddball. Weird. I found that kind of funny.
Well, and then he takes the hot dog to the person who ordered it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's some pervert who just wants to watch him chew it.
That was... Hey, he was still going to eat it. He just wanted Billy to chew it for him first.
Ew.
I don't know. Maybe he didn't have no teeth.
Throw it in a blender.
Yeah.
You don't need a stranger to chew it.
In a little bit of
creepy vibes.
Yeah, that it was kind of hard to take it any other way other than, oh, this little pervert, don't do that. Not even for the cash
He's
tip.
16.
Yeah.
Are 16-year-olds even allowed to do like DoorDash and stuff like that?
I'd have to imagine not.
Don't you have to be 18?
I would assume so, but hey, he found a way to work the system.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I got sort of like not anti-capitalist vibes, but you've got Billy who's trying to do his hustle to try to make money and earn a living, and kind of living in a semi-unconventional method, dropping out of school early and trying to just make it on his own. That ends up he's kind of pushes his friends away a bit doing that, so I think he doesn't even really come full circle because he ends up leaving them anyways.
Yeah, I don't get the indication that he even liked his friends or his family or his town.
What was with the one old lady he was delivering food to, and then we don't really see her character much,
She
but
died.
she
He
falls in the
found her
shower,
dead.
and he finds her in the, when he's delivering food again, just dead in the shower for how long. That was weird. Kind of reflecting back on this movie had some strange choices, but like I said, I didn't hate it.
Worm alien was like a mukbanger.
I don't remember what that means. Do tell.
Oh, it's like someone who is on YouTube or whatever video platform, and they just sit there and they eat a lot of food.
Oh, yeah. Not quite my thing, but hey, if you enjoy it, go for it. Now, this movie was all right. It wasn't the worst animated I've ever seen. I'd rather watch it than Elio.
I think I'd rather watch Elio than this again.
Would love to see something else from these creators, maybe a bit more focus, or at least continue to expand on these pre-existing characters if they ever do something else like this in the future. But I appreciate, like I said, if they're up for this reward where it's under a certain dollar amount. It's impressive what they did with a tight budget.
Yeah.
We know making anything, especially animation or movies or anything like that, is not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give this like a 75. Not too bad. I would honestly probably need to watch it again to appreciate it a little bit more and see what things I missed or didn't pick up on.
20.
Wow, I think that's the biggest difference we've had yet.
I just didn't get it.
That's fair. Not everyone has to get it.
Yeah, not every movie is for every person, and this movie was not for me. I appreciate the filmmakers and the hard work that they put into it. Love some indie film, but this was not my jam. On Rotten Tomatoes, this has a 93%.
Wow, I guess you're just wrong.
I guess so. It's not worth the hype for me, personally.
You could be over here in the Winners Club with me, but no.
Hey, you're much less than 93 with your 75 over there.
I'm a pessimist. What can I say?
So, if
Worth the
anything,
hype.
it wasn't worth the hype for
Hush.
either of us. Our next movie was The Smashing Machine, starring The Rock himself.
When we first heard about this movie, we heard some early reviews that this was like, oh, this is the weirdest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, so I heard unsubstantiated early test reactions that it was the weirdest movie people had ever seen. And I was like, well, Benny Safdie directed it, so that tracks. And so then I was excited to watch it, but then I saw all the trailers and it looked like a typical biopic. And then I saw the reviews, and yes, it was a typical biopic. And then we watched it, and I agree. Typical biopic. I would have loved if this were just some weirdo abstract movie. Because there are so many biopics out there, and it gets boring. The formula is tired. I think you really have to do something unique with it to be interesting.
I was thinking when watching this, they could have gone like in a similar theme, but made it weird, like a Love Lies Bleed sort of route.
Yes.
Where your character is like a sort of like bodybuilder, athletic type, using steroids and a whole cocktail of stuff to try to get ahead in their game, but it ends up causing a lot of like psychological and health issues, damage. Have some like Love Lies Bleeding. You have a lot of like kind of dreamy sequences of the character kind of dealing and coping with things. None of that in Smashing Machine. I hope the person they based this off of doesn't think that made them look good, because it made him look like a psychopath the whole time.
Well, I actually think the movie was the way it was because that dude is still alive and had something to do with the movie because he was in the end of the movie.
Randomly, I thought that was a weird, jump from... We'll get to that, but seeing the real dude at the end kind of took me out of it.
I legitimately thought this main character, whose name was Mark... There are two Marks in this.
Mark Kerr. Yeah, our two of our main characters are just named Mark, so we're already just doing a great job.
Based on real people, so that's hard to change. But
Mark Kerr and Mark Coleman, two buddies doing their MMA fighting career.
But I thought that The Rock's Mark Kerr came across as a Mary Sue. And I just always think with biopics, I don't really think they should be made until the subject is dead.
I agree.
Think that was the problem with the Bohemian Rhapsody movie too, because that movie made it out like all of the other band members in Queen were these perfect little saints and Freddie Mercury was off the rails because he's the only one who isn't there to say something about that portrayal.
Absolutely.
Even though I am sure all the members of Queen had a little bit of bad behavior in their heyday.
They were all a debaucherous bunch.
Exactly.
I don't doubt it.
And I just kind of got that with this movie because we do see his drug addiction and everything, but then we see him going to rehab and overcoming that. And
I did not like how they showed him walking into rehab. Next scene, he's walking out of rehab.
Yeah.
We have no indication how long it's been. Doesn't show any of him in there doing any kind of learning or struggling, nothing.
Yeah, what was his detox like?
Terrible, I bet.
We only ever saw him on the phone with his sponsor. What was that relationship like? Did he meet anyone in rehab that helped him along? But yeah, you're right. We just didn't see any of that. Instead, they make his girlfriend look like this unfeeling harpy.
You think that The Rock and Emily Blunt had any chemistry in this movie? I was not picking up on much.
Honestly, I didn't really pick up on anything one way or the other. I didn't think any of the acting in this was bad.
That's true. I didn't like whatever makeup and prosthetics they were putting on Dwayne Johnson. He looks just enough. I guess the character looked just enough like The Rock, where it was just kind of uncanny valley to me.
Well, because this is nominated at the Oscars for makeup. I actually disagree. I liked the prosthetics, but I will say at the beginning of the movie, when he has kind of the short, curly hair going, I thought that he just looked like The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
But then once he shaved his head, which is more The Rock's hairstyle, I thought he looked really different. I didn't think he looked like The Rock.
Oh, I thought he looked more like The Rock.
I don't know if the hair to me was... aiding the prosthetics or something. I don't think he looked like Mark Kerr once we saw the actual Mark Kerr. But I think towards the end of the movie, or as the movie went on, he started to look less and less like The Rock.
I was getting more and more, honestly, as time went on. We got the opposite. But yeah, I didn't really enjoy the portrayal of, I guess, this guy's relationship. Because number one, his relationship with, I thought they were married, but no, I guess they were just dating the whole time with Emily Blunt was just toxic as hell. He was, I feel like, gaslighting her and triggering her the entire time. It was really like, girl, why are you with him?
Absolutely. And I didn't really think the movie was even portraying it like he was in the wrong. But I definitely thought he was.
Just insufferable.
Because it's like, yeah, just because you're an addict and you've just been to rehab, that doesn't give you the right to now, judge her and make snide little comments if she goes and has a drink with her friends.
Or anytime she brought up, hey, you need to not do this to... He's just going to be The Rock. To The Rock in this, or she's trying to give any kind of feedback or stand up for herself, anything like that, he suddenly takes that as, why are you attacking me? I'm going through all this, and it makes it all about him every time.
And then he goes on tattletales to his sponsor.
Yeah. We had the one scene that was almost interesting where Emily Blunt goes, I've had it. I've had enough. I'm grabbing the gun. I point it to my head.
Oh, I was like, finally.
Something's
happening.
I guess. All else we see a lot of him him training, doing fighter stuff. He's buddy with his fellow Mark Coleman as they're coming up in like the new UFC and fighting
Pride.
championships and yeah, doing tournaments in Japan and stuff, which I guess was interesting seeing kind of the early history of that sort of everything that's gone on around that.
I didn't know what was going on sports-wise. You had to explain to me what they were doing.
I'm glad that they weren't afraid to show like performance enhancing substances were a big problem both on the individual level and then also probably across the board. Even though they didn't really I don't know, point out the fact that that was one of the main issues that The Rock was dealing with.
Mhm.
He had the time where he goes to the hospital, Emily Blunt's saying like I found him unresponsive. We don't
Yeah.
see him unresponsive or anything
No.
or like seizing up or anything
We
like
don't
that.
see her because she's saying, I couldn't move him. We don't see that.
Not at all. Not at all.
That would have maybe been an emotionally impactful scene,
Yeah.
but no, we don't see it.
And all it really comes to is his fellow Mark and also like coach or something like that visit The Rock in the hospital, be like, "Hey, what's going on? You need to stop." And he breaks down and is crying and goes to rehab. But they never really say like you doing these performance enhancing drugs is what's causing you a lot of your issues. They don't really kind of dance around it a little bit. I guess that kind of makes sense for the time and everything, but
Well, because they were mostly focusing on his like painkiller addiction. I don't know
that's
much
true.
about
Yeah.
drugs, but whatever he had that was this painkiller, he injected from a vial
I'm
and
assuming he
seemed
was
to
just
get from
abusing.
doctors.
He was just abusing morphine, I
Yeah.
guess.
But I was really confused and don't really know the point of that one scene where he's training with his coach,
Mhm.
and his coach, he has like a tendon or something, it like seizes up,
Mhm.
and he's in so much pain that The Rock then goes and gets some drugs, and he's sober at this point, but I guess he still has drugs on him.
Say, don't worry, these are old.
Yeah, and so he gives it to his coach, and his coach is like, it works, and he's happy. And
Mhm.
then The Rock goes and immediately throws that stuff away. And I truly do not know the purpose of that scene. Like, we never saw him relapse. Once he went to rehab, it was like Mary Sue.
I guess maybe when I was watching it in the moment, I was thinking like, okay, are they showing he can still be like around that kind of stuff, but it's not going to immediately trigger a relapse? But it kind of fell flat. That
Mhm.
scene seemed so out of place. You had his coach guy that you were mentioning. He's showing The Rock how to punch a certain way, and like I guess that aggravates a injury in his hand. Everyone's doing a great job. The scene's well acted out and everything, but it went on for just a little bit too long. I don't like you said, I don't know what it was supposed to really tell us or show us.
It's like maybe it's showing that he doesn't want to relapse, but why did he
Guess.
even still have the drugs in the first place?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you have gotten rid of that?
All I could get from this movie is this guy's the worst.
Yeah.
Just annoying to be around and insufferable. Sorry, dude, if you're listening to this, but didn't seem that all that great when you were addicted to, I'm assuming, opioids and PEDs.
I just think the movie made it out like he was this perfect little angel who went to rehab and then everything was great.
The one thing I disliked the most in this movie was whenever he was out in the ring, either like in a lineup of different fighters or fighting one on one with someone. For some reason, the announcers were always just fawning all over The Rock.
Yeah.
To an extra extent that it stood out, like beyond like, okay, why is an announcer like a sports broadcaster speaking about this guy in this way? And it really reflected, I think they shoehorned this in as a part of this biopic to kind of make him seem like a really good guy. And that contrasted heavily with like his actual actions and how he treated other people. I thought that annoyed me every time he was in the ring and there's the announcer going on.
Yeah. Honestly, there was an HBO documentary also called The Smashing Machine from like the 2000s about this. That's probably a more interesting watch.
I guess I do like they were not afraid to show that this guy like lost several times and not always had it together. He wasn't an unstoppable fighter who, you expect to come from nothing and win the championship, something like that. No, it's his
Yeah.
friend, other Mark, ends up winning. I guess that was cool. I guess him and Emily Blunt got married after the events of that story at some point. But that relationship just seemed toxic as hell.
Well, it seems like they had a child and then got
Bad
a divorce
idea.
after like what,
6
6
years?
years?
Then that ending. We get the cut to the real Mark Kerr shopping in like a Publix or something like that.
Yeah.
And they had him mic'd up for some reason, and he's walking to his car with a shopping cart, just kind of looking around. I caught he was saying like, wow, amazing, a few different times. And I'm not sure, was he like looking at the camera and just like, I can't believe I'm being filmed about my life, something like that?
Maybe.
I did not get that at all.
I think maybe what they were going for, especially with the text that was on screen, was, oh, this guy should be really famous. If he were doing the same stuff today, he'd be so famous. But
I don't
look,
like that.
he's just this normal, nice guy who can go to the grocery store and no one recognizes him. That's what I got from it. I didn't care for it.
Same. I'm not sure what to make of that. Good for you, buddies. Great job being such a gaslighter and drug addict in your earlier days. Treating your partner like crap. I don't quite know. I guess, I don't know, he seemed pretty famous at the time, so I don't even think it's like if he was coming about today, his name would be known all over the world. It's been a long time since he was in the heyday of his career.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it goes. I don't know why this biopic needed to be made, and like most biopics,
The Rock wanted Oscar bait.
yeah, it did not make me think any better of like the subject of that biopic.
No.
Looking at you, complete unknown.
The fact that Bob Dylan thinks that that is a flattering portrayal of
Exactly.
him shows how awful and insufferable he probably is to
Hopefully-
be around.
Hopefully Mark Kerr isn't looking at this movie like, yep, I was exactly like that. That's not a good thing, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd give this movie like a 35.
40.
That right. Not quite worth the hype. If you like MMA and wrestling and stuff, sure.
You watched the documentary.
But yeah, do that instead.
So on Rotten Tomatoes, this has a 71%.
Okay. Higher than I would like, but not like glowing reviews, sounds like.
I don't think it's worth the hype.
No, it's a movie I'm not rooting for anyone at any point, really.
No. Even his friend, Mark, who seems nice, we don't really know that much about him. We just know from like half a scene that he has kids.
And you're right. The more I think about it, you notice the more like shortcuts that they took or like didn't film important things. When he's overdosing, has to go to the hospital. We don't see him at all. He's not shown in rehab doing any. It's really just training, argument with the girlfriend, fighting a match, training, more drugs.
See, this is an A24 movie. So the budget is going to be lower because they're more of an independent film studio.
Fair enough.
But of course, The Rock's salary was like, what, 4 or 5 million, something like that.
Yeah.
So you got to cut back on some things to pay that salary.
That's probably a low salary for him.
That
too.
probably is a low salary for him.
Yeah, not quite worth the hype. You can skip this one. You're not missing.
Yeah.
Just read that guy's Wikipedia page. Have more fun.
I guess I'll say the makeup and hairstyle Oscar nomination. I don't think that's unwarranted.
No, I agree. They did a good job on that.
Yeah. Our last movie.
What do we got?
It's a new release from this year, OBEX.
OBEX.
Now, this is my kind of independent film.
Okay.
It was really stylish. It had a really cool story. I think horror lends itself to independent film as well.
I agree.
I don't know if this one's considered a straight up horror movie, but I think it had a lot of horror elements.
Yeah.
I still see that image of like the 3 stacked TVs. Like that was really cool. The camera work was great. The director also wrote the movie and starred in the movie. So I always think that's really impressive, especially when everything is done really well.
Yeah. I think if I recall, this movie starts out, it's like 1987, something like that. So you've got a lot of like old TVs, cassette tapes, VCRs, videos. I think this guy's like recording a lot, old computers. He's got his little old Apple computer he's messing around on. So it's like an early techie guy.
Yeah.
seem to be pretty socially awkward. He has a gal just deliver his groceries to him, and he never wants to meet face to face, it seems like. Though I can respect that. You don't have to leave the house if you don't want to.
But he does have a best friend
His
named
pupper.
Sandy.
Sandy, we love Sandy. Sandy's a good girl.
Sandy was
Good
really
pup.
cute.
Good pup. And he buys the OBEX game, I think, and it has the devil in it.
Yeah, because he sees that this new OBEX game will essentially be this immersive experience. You take a video and,
Take
talk
pictures of
about
yourself
and where you live and your pets and everything, and they'll send you the game back and you can, immerse yourself into the game.
Yeah, they take pictures of yourself and like digitize it and put it into like utilizing these new technologies that we probably take for granted nowadays, but was probably really state of the art at the time, which I appreciate.
Yeah, and at first the game seems like a dud, but this demon thing is in there and it kidnaps Sandy.
Kidnaps Sandy and puts it into the video game. Now our hero has to go into the game to rescue his pupper.
I thought that the demon creature looked really cool.
It did.
While it was walking around his house, it was almost like it was covered in static. There's that really cool scene towards the end where he's like in its shadow. I think that's the movie poster even.
I was thinking that as well, because the demon thing that comes out of the game, it's got like a mask of like a, I don't know, general devil looking creature, but its body looks like, you're right, like static, and it's emitting light.
Yeah.
You get the really good shot. That was my favorite shot of the movie, I think, towards the end, where our protagonist is in a building or like a church, something like that. He's standing, you see the long shadow casted from the light of the demon's body. I thought that was really...
Yeah, and then the whole movie's in black and white.
I think that lent it credit for how well everything came together.
I agree.
Yeah. You can tell it's a lower budget movie, but that actually helps it along. You get the fun, like, insect creatures with just their mask on, but it's just a couple dudes going around. Like the guy with the teeth head. Cheap practical effects, but it didn't take away from it.
No, I thought the effects all looked really good, and I'm sure the black and white helps with that too.
Sandy was a good pupper throughout.
So good.
A+ job. I thought the story was interesting. It was fun and it had its weird little creepy moments. Definitely tried to capture that. Like I said, like late 80s, early 90s, really embracing all this cool new media and technology features that are coming out, especially in like computers and games and things like that.
Yeah, me too.
Sandy definitely gives this one a good bump up. I'm gonna give this one a 90%.
I was gonna go with 85. So
thumbs up. I'd say worth the hype. It's a weird little movie. Go into it with open eyes and just kind of enjoy yourself. Not too long, doesn't overstay its welcome. As long as you know, hey, this is a cool little low budget indie flick, we'll probably be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and on Rotten Tomatoes, this has a 96%.
Ooh, real high.
Very high. You know what? I'm not mad at that.
That's all Sandy, right?
I'd say worth the hype for this one.
Absolutely. It was a good little watch. Wasn't a bad way to cap off the week.
No, not at all. Now, as far as this week goes, favorite of these, I feel like Hamnet and OBEX feel very kind of
neck and
neck for me.
Okay.
And then my least favorite, I just didn't get Boys Go to Jupiter.
I would say probably OBEX was my favorite. And being someone who you just get up on as a kid, it's Saturday morning cartoons, and it didn't necessarily have to make sense. It was just entertaining. Boys Go to Jupiter, probably my second favorite. Like, okay, I kind of get the vibe they're going for. I want to like Hamnet more than I did. I think that having one really good ending scene does not make an entire movie great, but I'm not that sophisticated, so it probably went over my head. I'm not a Shakespeare boy.
It seems like you at least liked Hamnet more than Elio and the Smashing Machine.
Ooh, which of those do I like more? Probably Elio, because there's just more fun themes. Characters stuff through.
Didn't feel like it was dragging as long.
Yeah. Smashing Machine, I didn't hate that movie. Other ones I liked more, and I don't know why. The Rock needs to look elsewhere for his Oscar bait. How about that?
Yeah, because I thought he did a good job, but I got bored.
I agree. I agree. Watch OBEX again.
All right. Well, that's this week in movie watching.
Another one down.
And we'll see what the next one brings, continuing this Oscar season.
Up next month, Death Race. Right. So long.
Goodbye.